just staring at me. I'm trying so hard to make sense of this. Tidal waves, all of my thoughts are washed away again.
Vocals, let's talk about some vocals. I think it was a very simple vocal session in all aspects.
Basically, yes. For this little masterclass, we chose to go very, very simple. Microphone into a good preamp, into the computer. That's it. No compression, no EQ, no extra anything. Just to keep it simple. And we will show everything that has been done in the mix with plugins so that maybe you can see exactly what has been done and maybe there's something of value for you. But of course, if you record, you need some kind of compression or limiting or reverb and stuff just for the singer to feel at ease while performing. So we had a couple plugins. I think it was a compressor just for Marc to have a little bit more this finished sound on his ears while performing, and a little bit of delay and reverb, just a tiny bit so that it doesn't feel too rough. I am using Pro Tools HDX, so I have no latency. But if you are using like a native system, make sure that you use as low buffer size as you can go so that you have as little latency in your plugin chain as you can possibly have, so that the singer or whatever instrument you record, that you don't hear it with a too big delay, because that will just fuck up your timing and your perception and the feeling of everything. Although the big recording room is pretty dry and controlled, we chose to nevertheless put mobile absorbers around Marc, so to have a really dry space. And this is pretty important if you are recording extreme vocals, because as you will see in the mix, we compressed the shit out of it. And the more you compress, the more room you bring up. All the low volume information of a room is getting louder and louder. So if you want to keep the recording dry, even though you compress it extremely, you better make sure that the room is dry. One tiny little technical thing, recording level. If you are not sure how your preamp reacts to hot levels, go low. If you record in 24-bit, you have such an enormous dynamic range that you can record with peaks at minus 20, 30 even, and it will still be better quality than, let's say, the 16-bit resolution of a CD. So no need to go really, really hot. You can go hot, and I know that we went hot on the more aggressive parts because the preamp I use is a Neve 1073 that benefits from nice saturation if you go in hot. But I do it on purpose and I know that it's working. But if you are not certain, and if you maybe have like standard preamps, go soft. You can still put lots of harmonics and distortion if you want in the box, but don't risk to clip your signal on the way in, because you will have maybe ugly distortion that you don't want to have, and you cannot get rid of it if it's already on. And use closed back headphones for recording, because if you're using open back headphones, you risk of having a ton of bleed onto the microphone, and that can really suck. So try to have sealed, closed headphones. That's more or less it. It's really, very straightforward. Microphone, preamp, computer, a couple of plugins, and you're good to go. Now let's talk about the performance side of the thing.
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to point out is that you now listen to the final version, probably, and it's pretty aggressive vocals all the way through, but the song didn't start out like this. So at first we had a very aggressive screaming part in the beginning, and then a more melodic part in the end. That was the way that we recorded it first. And I decided that I wanted to do the clean part first, because it's not so heavy on my like vocal cords. So we recorded that first. And when we were finished and happy with that take, we then recorded the first half of the song, which is more aggressive scream style vocals. But when we then finished that, we felt like, the second part could have more aggression. So basically then I went for a similar singing style to the first part and redid the second part that we recorded first.
Funny enough, in the end, the clean vocals that were supposed to be at the end, they just ended up as a soft double and triple track on the sides, but the main vocals was the actual gritty vocal.
Yeah, so that's one thing to consider if you're recording heavy vocals. If you have like different levels of aggression in your singing, maybe consider which parts do you want to record first and which ones you want to record later, because you maybe want to save up on your voice.
Yeah, there is no need to sing a song from start to finish in that order. You can mix up the order of parts just the way that suits your stamina while recording.
Another thing about the composition of the vocals is writing singable lyrics. I mean, in this case, I wrote the lyrics in a way that they would fit the singing and the singing style, and I would know that I have all the breaths that I need to actually record it. I could record it in one take, basically. I could sing it live. But yeah, if you are a singer or a lyricist and you write lyrics and you have a lot of words, just make sure that you can actually perform it. And if you can't, but you still want the song to be that way, then there's a way to go about this. You can basically split up.
What you can do if a line is just too long for one breath.
Yeah.
Let's say you have like 10 words, but you can only go like 7 or 8 before you run out of breath. Then do maybe 6 or 7 words, stop there, and then you record the second part with like 2 or 3 words of overlap, so that you have fresh breath for the end of the sentence and can go full speed until the end. And then you have like the 2 or 3 words to see where you can put your crossfade and where you can merge the 2 takes together, so that it sounds natural. Because if it's like you have 10 words to sing and you make 5 and then a break and then you do the other 5, when you put them together, you will hear that you lose some intensity and then it's coming back up. You can hear that it's 2 takes. So if you do this, record with overlap so that you can split at the right point where it feels natural.
Yeah, that's a good point. Another thing I would like to add, especially when because we're talking about aggressive vocals, metal vocals, scream type vocals. Just have a lot of intention when singing and don't be shy. It's better to have takes that are maybe a little sloppy on the timing or something, but they have a lot of attitude.
Did you know that Taiming is not a town in China?
Another thing is with the tuning. Maybe you know that it's very common these days to tune vocals. There's different ways to do it, like auto-tune style or Melodyne, where you like manually correct notes. The problem is if you have a lot of distortion and grit and dirt in your voice,
Melodyne just doesn't understand it.
Yeah,
it's too many harmonics, and Melodyne doesn't know what note it is, and you sometimes just cannot tune it. You are just it just doesn't work. So the tuning has to be spot on. And you're absolutely right about this attitude thing. There is no attitude knob to turn. Of course, you can add saturation and a little bit of distortion and stuff and make aggressive vocals even more. But there are limits, and the key is always the first and the raw performance must have the essence of what you are after. If the essence is not there, it's very difficult to find the essence somewhere in a plugin or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe to add to that, if you are an experienced metal singer, in the sense that you're playing live, maybe you know about your actual vocal technique and you maybe know that you are doing it correct, don't play it too safe when you are in the studio. Live, absolutely, you have to like manage your energy and for how long you can sing that style of vocals. That's clear. But I very consciously decide when I'm recording metal, like scream vocals, I consciously decide whether I'm singing with a good technique or with like a bad or no technique. Because sometimes it works with a proper technique, but sometimes just like there's like takes or just single words or lines where I feel like I can't get the level of aggression or emotion out of a correct way of singing, and then I just go for screaming. Because the thing is, yes, your vocal teacher will tell you not to do this, but the other thing is, if you do this for a recording session, even for an entire album, your voice will recover and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
You can go, you can push a little harder sometimes, because at the end of the day, you're capturing something like for eternity.
Yeah.
So you better make it right.
Yeah.
So here's the final vocal take for you.
Like birds of stare